Hello. Samira invited me to talk a little bit about my classes, and I was supposed to be there with you, but as I couldn't manage my schedule, I'm here at home talking to you. I'm not a YouTuber. Maybe the light's not okay. Maybe the view is not good, but is I'm trying to do the best I can do to talk to you, girls and boys. I don't know who is the audience. Well, here in Brazil, everybody says private teacher. If you talk to other people, somebody is going to say tutor or one-to-one classes. Anyway, is this class where you have just the teacher and the student. Sometimes one student, two students, but it's at home or in a room, and it's just you and the students, not in a class, okay? So, how did I start? I was a student at UX and I didn't know what to do. I went to schools, I was a teacher at private schools, public, language schools, but I didn't feel it was really what I would like to do. I once remember that I saw a woman and the girls were saying, oh, she's a private teacher, and she goes abroad once a year, she makes her money just by teaching private students. And I said, oh my god, that's so amazing, she must be so intelligent. Oh, that's not for me, I'm not prepared. And I always remembered her. And then I started my career as a teacher, and one day I had one private student. Then I started and I saw that I really liked, that it was something that it was for me. Because I think when we graduate, we're not sure about what we are going to do. And it's good to try. I'm really happy because I tried all the possibilities. And I think when you try all the possibilities, you realize what you really like and what you don't like. Okay? So for me, it was the start. It was like this. Uh, Trying, And one problem I think about being a private teacher is you don't have anyone to talk, because all the classes at UX, unless Hamida is your professor, are the focus is on teaching at schools. It's always about that. The classroom management, management, everything related to schools. Even books, I was looking here to see if I have one to show you. Even books, it's on my bedroom. Even books are not, the main focus is not this. I think things are changing now. I really think nowadays people are thinking a lot, much a lot about private teachers. Okay, I have some points here on my computer that I have to check because I want to tell you and I don't want to forget. Okay, of course there are challenges about being a teacher, and one of the challenges is all the choices you have. You don't know. Okay, I'm gonna be a teacher now. Which book should I follow? How do I test my students? How do I know which level they are? How can I make a placement test? And nobody's going to tell you. You have to decide. You go, you read, you try to find examples, and it's even difficult to talk to other teachers because people don't like to share, because it's their jobs, their knowledge, and sometimes people you ask and they don't give the answers because they don't want to have a competitors. I don't know. So this is one big challenge I think I faced when I started. Another thing is the place. As you see, I'm at home, okay, and this is where I teach. I'd like to have a room, but when I think about the price to pay a room and how easy it is to be at home, then when my student leave, if I want to take a shower after he left, it's okay. I'm at home. For me, it works. It depends on you. Another thing that's difficult for some people is about the benefits, you know, because when you have a steady job, a regular job at a company, at school, university, whatever, you have some benefits, you know, a worker. As a worker, and when you are a private teacher, you don't have it. You have to worry about at the end of the year when your students are going to be on vacation, you're not going to have your salary, all of these things, you know. And during my life, I met a lot of people who would like to be a private teacher, and a lot of them complained about the questions. Usually, they used to tell. I used to ask, "Oh, why don't you try? It's so good. It pays well. It's much better, according to my point of view." And then they said, "Oh, but the students ask a lot," and that's true, because they are not shy, you know, anymore. Not as much as they would be in a class. And then they ask, and if you don't know, you have to research. So it's more demanding in this, if you think about that, you know. So you have to like to research, you have to be able to say, okay, I don't know, I'm going to check, because if you don't feel comfortable with this, it's going to be hard for you. But I think these disadvantages, let's say, are really small when you think about the advantages. Okay, for example, having your own schedule, you know. I like working in the evenings. I actually work from 9 to 10, okay? Because students want the period of time, usually after 5 o'clock is when it's easier to have students. And then I have to work this time. And I have to work on Saturday, morning and afternoon. So I'm free to sleep in the morning. For me, it's wonderful, you know, because it's always what I wanted, you know. I always wanted a job where I could work later to be able to sleep in the morning, and I could find this is a big advantage. If you compare, if you put it on a scale to see, oh, should I get my vacations paid or sleeping late in the morning, I would choose that. But that's for me. That's why it's important that you know yourself very well to decide if this is the path you have to follow. Another thing that I think it's very important is the income, the salary, because you set your price, and usually the price you charge is more than you can get at a school, because of course you don't have the benefits, you know, and some schools pay well and some don't. So it's not that you have to compare the price for hour, for example, with the price a school pays you, because at school you're going to have other kind of stuff that you don't have when you work by yourself. You learn how to deal with that. But at first, I remember that I was really scared, because I knew that at the end of the year was coming, and I said, oh my God, I'm not going to have money. My students are going to leave. It's their vacation. But after a while, you learn that you have to save money, and you have to be prepared. You have to have a good healthcare plan, all these things. Another thing that I like a lot, I don't know, I think the reward is bigger. I think the students, I don't know if because it's just another person, and it's more difficult to say bad things, because I remember I had terrible experiences at school. I remember that students could be really mean, and when you are teaching students, private students, they are different. They are more focused. They want to study, and then they are they give you more. I think they give you more. You know, they think, oh, my teacher is the best. They always have this kind of they give this feedback for us. Another thing is that you don't have a boss, which is really good, because I think it's difficult to find someone who really likes the boss. And I remember the schools had so many rules that I didn't like, that I didn't believe. For example, oh, boys shouldn't wear caps. And I said, why not? Chewing a gum, why not? You know, I like chewing gum, of course. Oh, you're not going you're going to lose your attention and something like this. But now I feel that I'm teaching. The only thing that matters is the English, you know, not the other things that around the school you have to do. Okay. The last, I think in the last years, one thing that changed a lot is the technology. Because it's important to be, you have to update, because as you are not in touch with other teachers, you have to try to find online courses, or even I have partnership with other teachers. I have two girls that I helped them to start, and they're really good, and we exchange ideas, we have projects together. For example, once a month, we put our students together to have speaking classes. We go to a coffee shop, we have drinking classes, then we meet in a house or in a place, and then we talk just in English. It's really interesting because they are private students, but they have this opportunity to be together with other students. After, I'm going to show just a screen with the things related to technology that I use to share with you if you think it's interesting to use as well. But this is something that you have to really be aware, because it's difficult to know what's changing now, what are the new tools and everything. If you are not a person that, if you see it and expect your students to come and keep like that forever, maybe soon you're going to be outdated, and this is not good for any kind of teacher, of course. So I'm going to show you these things that I use, and soon I'll be back. Well, as I told you, technology is something that's really important. I'm gonna show some of the things I use. For example, I have a software to take care of the payments and the students, and so I come here. I always set a date and the prices and everything. Then I have my students, okay, and the classes, if there is a discount, if they pay before the day, everything. Then every month, at the first of the month, they get an email like that, telling the days of the classes, telling the price. If they pay before the 10th, they get a discount. And it's important to have this kind of agreements with your students, because the payment is something that sometimes is complicated, because you have to deal with this part as well in a professional way, because it's your salary, of course, and you have to get it, and it's not something like always people who deal with services instead of goods or products. It's more complicated to charge, but I think this is a way that's really efficient. Okay, another thing I have that I like very much is my calendar. They have access to it, so they can come here, for example, and you are free here, I want to schedule a class, or I'm not going to be able to come, as this student did. Then he cancels the class, and I receive of course from on my email, and then I approve or not. But it's a way not to waste time. Then we can I don't have to reply on WhatsApp or everything. They can do the things they want with the classes. Of course, I have to set the calendar with the rules. Another thing that I use very much is appearing. People usually, because I have online students as well, okay? Skype, of course, is good, no problems, but appearing is easier because it's like a chat room, okay? You just give your student the link, the student gets on the page, and then it's a chat room. You can have more people. Here my cam is off because I'm recording it. You can share the screen as you do with Skype. It's light. Sometimes when Skype's not working, I use this. I think it's a very helpful tool. It's important to use technology because everybody uses it. And I also have Google Classroom is another tool for teachers that I think it's really good for students, because nowadays, for example, if you study at IASG, you have iConnect. Cultura has My Cultura, okay? What does a private teacher can do? So I have this is a classroom. I have this one I have with another private teacher. We did together. So we have exercises, extra exercises. The student can come here the time they want, the way they want, and then we set some topics like listening, pronunciation, reading, writing, speaking, vocabulary, grammar, and then the students do, we correct. Is another tool to help to develop their abilities, okay? Oh, and there is another thing that I would like to share with you, because I work with American Headway, okay? And now American Headway has a collection of the books called iTools, okay? So the books are not online. It's a kind of a software, okay, where you can see you have the books here. It's very useful to work with one-to-one classes. So, for example, you come here and then you can show the students the pictures bigger. The tracks are here, really easy to access, you know. You have the scripts if you want to. Here you don't have it because it's a simple one. Let me go to another unit. For example, here you can show the students the script. It's here. So you can work just with your screen. You can make notes and keep here, use markers to show things that are important. Oxford's not paying me, unfortunately, to do this advertisement. I would like a lot, but I think this iTools is something really, really interesting. It's a little bit expensive, but if you think about the way it is useful, it's worth the money. Okay, that's it. Sometimes I speak very fast. I'm trying to calm down and speak slower. But if you have any doubts, I will give my email to Samira. She can share with you. It would be a pleasure to discuss questions about my job, to discuss if you have any doubts about, oh, how did you do this, how did you choose this book, how many hours do you work at, even the price, whatever you want, I can ask you, okay? I'm really glad that she invited me, because it's a pleasure for me to share a little bit of my life as a teacher. That's so happy. Sometimes my friend and I, we are talking about our projects and everything, and we say, how is it possible that we are paid to do a job that's so good, we like so much, you know, and while a lot of people are struggling to work and everything. I think this is an opportunity that you have to, if it's for you, if it's the way you are, okay? And I would like to thank you again to invite me, Samira, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, if you have any doubts, remember to ask her, and then you can write. Okay, bye bye, girls. It was a pleasure.